Hey, welcome back to BLT&T. Yeah, BL Trails and Tales. Well, we're going to talk a little bit of life and what's going on in the country today. I just looking at the news and that it just gets worse and worse every day. I don't think that it could, but it seems to. Religion, the attack on religion, the divide between the left and the right. There is no middle ground anymore. We used to have people in the middle, you used to call it extreme right, extreme left. There is nobody in the middle anymore. It's just one way or the other. But the liberals and what they've got going on in their attacks, I mean, they're going into the churches now. You see that with the Catholic Church and the nativity scene for Christmas, where baby Jesus is all tied up or gagged, and everybody else that got gas mask on or something with signs saying ICE was here. What in the wide world is that about? Why can't they just celebrate Christmas? Why do they have to put in their political agenda, and why is their political agenda involving the nativity scene? That's just bad. And I think that's bad. It was just the day before that, I think I saw that Methodist minister that he was transitional. He was coming out, and telling everybody he was trans, and that he wasn't really transitioning, because he was just what was that words he said? He was just tired of make-believing that he was a man or something like that. And, he was born a man. He didn't change from being a man. And he's a minister of a church. And now he's just telling lies, I mean, how many people does that affect when your churches do stuff like that? Politicians are bad enough. My word, you get those lies from the politicians all the time, and they just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. The Epstein deal, there was a whole bunch of lies about that, and whether Trump was involved. And now it seems like since all that stuff kind of came out, it's no big deal now. But ICE raids, they're calling them Nazis. The governors like Newsom there in California, and this other crazy guy there in Illinois, where they're letting criminals go. They're illegals. They've got them in jail because they committed a crime. They're illegal. They're not in the country legally. They've been deported once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times. They've committed crimes in the country. They've got them in jail, but they're going to let them loose because they're not going to turn them over to ICE. You tell me why those people, those governor officials, are not locked up themselves for aiding and abetting criminals. I mean, if you've got a criminal in your house, and you hide him from the ICE agents or whatever, that's aiding and abetting. You can go to jail for that. But if you're a liberal politician, the laws don't apply to you, I guess. I just find the whole thing a little bit disgusting. I had big hopes for Trump and when he came in, and I think that they've done a lot of good, but then they get embroiled in all sorts of controversies, just like when they blew up those drug runners, right? Well, they've blown up a lot of those drug guys, and then they double tapped one of them. Well, I don't know. I guess under their rules of engagement, that was totally acceptable, because those guys were, their boat was half blown up, and they were swimming back to their boat to get on there, and then they were going to, I guess that they can sink those drugs, and they've got trackers on them, so they go down in the ocean, and then they can come back by and pick those drugs up at a later time. Well, I think it was well within the means of the government and the Army, and the Navy that went ahead and double tapped them. Those drugs were not destroyed. And that was the object. I mean, they're not out there to kill the drug runners as such. They're blowing up the boats with the drugs on them. That's their job. So that boat's half blown up, and you've got crazy people that are trying to get back onto that boat. If they wanted to get away from that, they wanted to survive or whatever, put your hands up, say, hey, you know, we surrender or whatever, you know, and stay away from that boat. But they didn't. And so they went back into the field of engagement, and that boat had drugs on it that they were trying to put down to sink so they could come back and get them. Well, they got blown up. Good for us, bad for them. But the Democrats and the liberals want to make it out like some kind of heinous crime, like a war crime and all this other crap. Get a life, you know. I mean, get real. Why don't you fight as hard for American citizens and people that are trying to obey the law and people that are trying to work hard and make America great? Why not work as hard for them? Why do you have to work so hard for people that are illegal? Where is that written that you have to do that? The liberals have gone so far to the left that they have absolutely no common sense, and they don't want any. They think that they can get in power by simply being radical left, because there's nobody left in the middle anymore. What a sad state of affairs that is. I'm glad I'm old. I'm going to, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of fireside chats, I guess, and hopefully some podcasts and more with engagement of other individuals and have more in-depth conversations. But I'm going to be on the road, and I'm scared for our nation. I'm scared for our children. I'm scared for our grandchildren. The AI that's involved, that's absolutely crazy. I use some of that when I'm writing my songs. I write songs, and then I can put that into an AI, and they'll put up a video, you know, my likeness and stuff, doing to make a video out of my song, and it works about halfway. Some of it is kind of humorous because it's a little off, you know, but anyway, I'm just a dabbler, and I'm not even trying to do it correct. But they're obviously, you know, that the AI, they've got stuff that's so real that, you know, you couldn't tell if it's President Trump sitting here talking to you by this fire or not. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You wouldn't be able to say, oh no, that's not Trump, because it's spooky real. And if you can do that, what's to harness it in? What's to rein it in? There is nothing. I mean, you're going to see that stuff get very, very ugly. They're using it to control everything now. You know, even they're talking about medical. I mean, there's wonderful ways to use AI. I am positive of that, and it would be a great benefit. But with a great benefit comes great responsibility, and with that, you also you have people that have no responsibility, and they're going to take it and use it for evil means. You know, our nuclear arsenals, the weapons that we develop, they're all going to be AI generated and controlled, and being that they can be hacked. And you know, we all saw, well, not all of us, we're not all as old as me, but I don't know if you remember 2001 Space Odyssey, you know, or how the computer on that spaceship decided, you know, the humans in there really didn't need to be on that mission, you know, and they were just kind of an infestation, and he was just going to get rid of them, you know, and life would be a whole lot better without them. And then we, you know, after that, hopefully if you're not too young, you got the Terminator movies where, you know, Skynet or whatever, that's what it was, becomes self-aware and just decides that, you know, robots are really good, AI is really good, you know, humans, they just consume resources, They pollute the land, you know, and we really don't need them. And so you start a war and you take out the humans. And we're not that far from it. It's dang spooky, and they don't have any control over it. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Leave me a comment. I hope you like the videos. There's several of them on there. I like to do trail rides a lot more. I like to do rope and trading. I like to write songs. I like to have fun. But this stuff is just getting really, really serious, and I think we need to have a conversation about it. So I hope you press like and on the video and subscribe and follow me, and we'll do more. Leave me comments. Tell me what you think. Let me know. I mean, I'm just rambling on here, so you let me know what you think, what we need to discuss, and you know, any kind of a solution. But we need to have that conversation. We're too often we just keep it to ourselves, you know, and we'd better start opening up to other people. So I hope you open up here and let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. If you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook too, you know that. Obviously on YouTube. So anyway, leave me a comment. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.